Sefer Shmot, Parshat Beshalach, on the role of song in liberation work. This week is Shabbat Shira, the Shabbat of song, which we celebrate by reading Parshat Beshalach, meaning when he let go. In this Torah portion, Pharaoh finally lets the Israelites go, and God leads them to the Red Sea. However, Pharaoh then has a change of heart and sends his army after the Jews. Here, Moshe memorably splits the Red Sea so the Israelites can pass through safely to freedom. Upon attaining liberation and safety, Moses and the Israelites burst out in song. It reads, Le'mor ashira ladonai ki gauga v'rochvo rama v'yam. I will sing to the Lord, for God has triumphed gloriously. Horse and driver God has hurled into the sea. It continues, O ziv zimrat ya vayehi li lishua ze eli ve'anvehu Elohei avi v'ramamenu. The Lord is my strength and song. God has become my deliverance. Given that the Israelites ostensibly were not allowed to sing during their hundreds of years as slaves, it is remarkable that they remembered or learned how to sing. Even more amazing is that they all knew the right words together and on the spot without having been taught them beforehand. Rashi, citing the Midrash Mechilta de Rabbi Yishmael, says about such inspiration, a maidservant beheld at the Red Sea what even the prophets never saw. This version of the song goes on for 17 more verses and includes this other famous pasuk, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, no ratihilot osefela. Who is like you, O Lord, among the mighty? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders? As soon as the first song ends, the prophetess Miriam takes over as the leader. V'tikach Miriam hanaviyah achot Aharon et hatov biada v'teitzena kol hanashim achreha betupim uvehum cholot. Then Miriam, the prophetess, Aaron's sister, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her and danced with timbrels. V'ta'an lehem Miriam shiru ladonai ki goga sus v'rochvo rama v'yam. And Miriam chanted for them, sing to the Lord. For God has triumphed gloriously, horse and driver God has hurled into the sea. Close readers of this passage might ask, how did Miriam and the other women have timbrels, tambourines, ready for this song when the Israelites had left their Egyptian captivity in such a hurry, they couldn't even bake challah. They had to bake matzot. Another Rashi comment, drawing on Mechilta de Rabbi Yishmael, answers, the righteous women in that generation were confident that God would perform miracles for them, and they accordingly brought timbrels with them out from Egypt. Bitachon. What an amazing sign of faith, of emunah. It must have been that they had packed instruments before they knew whether freedom would be achieved. This moment can be a reminder of how important it is for activists and change makers to not only be immersed in the struggle, but to also prepare the instruments in anticipation of the liberation to come. The two parts of this song, Moses is long and full of words, and Miriam's marked by dancing and instruments as a sign of celebration and fulfilled hopes. They both illustrate how the work and fruits of deliverance necessarily include the entire community. Song is an expression of the soul, of gratitude, of longing, and of dreaming. And it has such a crucial role to play in movement building and in liberation work. During the US Civil Rights Movement, music was a uniting force with the song, "We Shall Overcome," serving as an anthem of the movement. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. demonstrating a kind of faith strikingly similar to the hope Miriam showed in pre-packing her timbrel, referenced "We Shall Overcome" in his 1964 book, Why We Can't Wait. He wrote, "We sing the freedom songs today for the same reason the slaves sang them, because we too are in bondage, and the songs add hope to our determination that we shall overcome. Black and white together, we shall overcome someday." In the Soviet Jewry movement, song has a similar function. The most notable, perhaps, was Am Yisrael Chad, or the people of Israel live. And to this day, the singing of liberation songs plays a central role in the celebration of Pesach Sedarim, Passover Seders, in Jewish homes all over the world. In Sefer Devarim, in the book of Deuteronomy, the Torah itself is called a shira, a song. God says to Moshe, "Write down this song and teach it to the people of Israel." Rabbi Nachman of Breslov identified music as a kind of prophecy, a nevuah. Likutei Maharan answers a question posed in Sefer Mishlei, in the book of Proverbs. Who has gone up to heaven and come down? By teaching. This is the aspect of the musician, Rabbi Nachman says. The musician goes up and down in the music because he has to go up and down on the scale of the strings in line with the song's notes in order to gather the ruach, the spirit. And so, friends, while music is prescribed a particular role in Jewish life, its impact is universal. The singer and songwriter Billy Joel told Rolling Stone in 1986, "I think music in itself is healing. It's an explosive expression of humanity. It's something we are all touched by. No matter what culture you're from, everyone loves music." One thing that is so powerful about Moses and Miriam's Song of the Sea is that right up until they sung it, the Israelites were absolutely terrified, being pursued by Pharaoh's army, right on the brink of a mass death of their entire people. And when God, in the grandest miracle of the Bible, defeats the enemy and brings Israel to freedom, the only apt response by the Jewish people is singing together. From this, we see that great joy can be found in even the scariest situations. There can be great joy found even in dark places when we band together and when we sing in unison. Change work can be exhausting and divisive. Music can help to bring joy and connection to one another in our work. While we pursue liberation, we can engage in a liberatory process that frees the soul from narrow confines. May we do this together. Shabbat Shalom.